Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Jo here at SportsGrid. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Small play today. Only 5 games to go over. We're going to go over each of these sides totals, some player props that I'm liking in a couple of these games. So maybe you caught me earlier on Game Time Decisions with Kevin Walsh. We did go over these games, and those were my best bets in each and every one of these. So we're going to go over more detail on the show here. Jimmy, good morning to you. So let's kick off with the first game. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. This one kicks off at 1 o'clock Eastern. So we have about an hour before this one kicks off. Now Pickard will be in net tonight or today for the Edmonton Oilers, and Tristan Jarry here for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And when I think about these goalies, I really do look for Tristan Jarry to be the stronger, but he has struggled in his career versus the Edmonton Oilers. It hasn't been good versus the Oilers. He's only recorded 1 win out of 4 times versus them. His goals against average is not pretty at 4.94 and a save percentage of 8.56. So he has shown his struggles absolutely there. Let's look at current lines. And again, all the lines that I am pulling from are over on FanDuel. So the Edmonton Oilers, the favorite at -166. We do have the Pittsburgh Penguins at +138. That total is 6.5. Now 6.5 to the under is -115. And I would take this to the under before I took it to the over. But I'm going to isolate the Edmonton Oilers and look at their team total to the over. I think Edmonton dominates again in this one, and we know Edmonton's off a couple of losses. Both these teams on their second night of a back-to-back here. With Edmonton in this one, off 2 losses, getting the loss in a shootout style versus the Sabres yesterday, they got to be frustrated on the offensive side of the puck. And when we look at this team, when that defense lockdown gameplay isn't working, they revert back to a high-strung offensive game. Now, can they score 4 goals in this one and still stay under the total? Absolutely, because another bet I like in this one is the Pittsburgh Penguins team total, under 2.5. Their team total under 2.5, you're getting plus money at +112. And I do think this is a game where the Penguins struggle again to score. The last time these teams matched up, Edmonton got a 6-1 win, and I could see this being a 4-1, 5-1 win for the Edmonton Oilers. We look at the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're off that loss to the Boston Bruins, only able to put up 1 goal in that game. And I think this team is frustrated. This is the first time since Sidney Crosby has joined the Penguins, over a decade ago, that they haven't been buyers at the trade deadline. So I think this core is frustrated. Morale is down, and the Edmonton Oilers can capitalize on it, especially with Tristan Jarry's record versus them. Yeah, Pickard, you've got to be careful with Pickard, but if you're I prefer the Oilers team total over, and that's why I isolated that, because I do trust in the Oilers to get the goals. I lean under because the Penguins just aren't scoring as of late. Pickard has had some strong games, so my best bet is the team total over, 3.5 for the Edmonton Oilers. They've hit this over in the last 5 meetings versus the Pittsburgh Penguins as well. So I think that is your best way to go. Let's look at the next game here. The Nashville Predators taking on the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Preds are coming in as a road dog here at +114 and the Wild at -137. We do have a total of 5.5. Now, this is juiced to that over at -134 to the over and +110 to the under. The Nashville Predators have been so strong at coming straight out of the gate and dominating in that first period. Now, they're on the second night of a back-to-back, which is actually a positive if you're looking to back the Preds here on the road. They've been on the second night of a back-to-back in 5 games this season, and they've won all 5 of those. So there is value on the Preds here. When we look at recent matchups between these two, the Preds have also won 7 of the last 10 meetings. February, they won in Nashville 6-1, and in January, 3-2 in Minnesota. The Minnesota Wild did win the prior meeting back in November 6-1, and that was in Nashville. So I think the Preds have every ability. And we look at the goaltending matchup here. Saros is the stronger goalie versus the Wild than Gustafsson is versus the Preds. You look at Saros, he's 8-3 versus the Wild in his career with a 2.11 goals against average and a 9.34 save percentage. So I do expect him to come out strong. Now, looking at Gustafsson, it's not like he's terrible. He's gone 2-2-1. In 5 games versus them, but that goals against average is higher at 3.39. The save percentage is only 8.82. So I do expect the Preds to be able to score. We know how strong Forsberg has been coming out for this team and getting those goals on the board. But one other person I want to point you to is Jason Zucker. Now, Jason Zucker for the anytime goal, so much value, plus 420. Now, he was traded over from the Arizona Coyotes, and he did play yesterday, so this will be his second game out there. He played for like just over 13 minutes, between 13 and 14. Why I'm looking at him in this one is because when he started his career, it was with the Minnesota Wild. So you've got to look at those storylines. He played with the Minnesota Wild for 9 seasons before bouncing around a little bit. And like I said, he was with the Arizona Coyotes before getting traded here to Nashville. So I do think it's kind of one of those storylines to look at plus 420. It's worth the sprinkle. Forsberg coming in at plus 145 and Ryan O'Reilly at plus 420. Now, if you're looking at the Minnesota Wild, we know they'll get on the board. I do think there's a couple goals out of the Wild. You can look at Kaprizov here for the anytime goal. He's plus 110. Now, what's my favorite bet of this game? It is looking at the Nashville Predators in the first period. And I think there's a couple things you can do. You can look at that first period money line for the Nashville Predators. That's coming in at minus 108. You could also look at the Nashville Predators team total for this game, over 2.5 at minus 138. I like both of those bets. My favorite bet in this one is, you guys know I go after the plus money. Looking at the Nashville Predators to score first in the first period is my favorite bet of this game. I'm looking for them to come out hot and explosive in this one and catch the Wild team who are rested coming into this, which can go both ways. And I'm looking for them to hit them fast. So the Nashville Predators to score first in the first period at plus 150. I can't say no, you guys. You know I love that plus money. Yeah, the Oilers have been not playing great out there. I believe Zucker is on the third line, but I think he has every ability to come out nice and strong in this one. At plus 420, it is definitely worth a chance. Okay. We're going to look at the Calgary Flames taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Calgary Flames are plus 188, and it's minus 230 here for the Carolina Hurricanes. Now we got a total of 6.5. We're laying the juice to the under 6.5 at minus 130, and the over, you're getting plus money at plus 106. The last 3 games between these two have finished 3-2. So if you're looking for kind of those trends to stay solid, betting either team to win at 3-2, I think would be a really interesting way to go. And you're going to get great plus money. Now, can I really foresee it happening? It's going to be a struggle here for Calgary to be able to stay competitive with the Carolina Hurricanes. Calgary on the second night of the back-to-back, they've lost their last 5. So unlike the Nashville Predators, second night of a back-to-back for Calgary is very detrimental. Now, Markstrom will not be in goal, and we do have Dan Vladar in goal tonight. He's got a 3.21 goals against average and an 8.90 save percentage in the 2 games versus the Carolina Hurricanes. The problem here for Dan Vladar is he hasn't been getting the support by his defense in the 2 games that he has faced Carolina. In one of the games, he faced 37 shots. In the other one, he faced 33. So I was hoping there would be a safe shot on goal prop for Dan Vladar, and I'm going to keep waiting to see if we can get it on FanDuel, because over 29.5 safe shots on goal, I do like. If it's any higher than that, if it's sitting at 30.5, that's a really interesting number when the books put that up. They do expect those goaltenders normally, and I have seen so many 30.5s go over when it looks like they shouldn't. So 29.5, a 30.5 I'd hit as well. Any higher, I'm not touching. And if they're showing a 26.5, I wouldn't touch it either. So I want the 29.5, just because the 26.5 is telling me the books really expect Calgary to lock down on defense. I don't expect that. And they expect Carolina just to play a slower defensive game and not get those shots once they get the lead. So I want a 29.5. I'll take a 30.5 as well for Dan Vladar to the over, because you look at it, and if the defense doesn't give him support and Carolina peppers him like that, I do think he can go over this number. Now, what I'm going to look at here is The last 3 games have finished 3-2, but we're still seeing that first period being highly explosive. I'm taking the first period over 1.5. That has hit in the last 4 games overall. Between these two clubs, and that's coming in at -134. So I know you got to lay the juice. If you want to look at both teams to score, I'm not opposed to that either. You're going to get so much more value there. You're going to get that plus money. I'm just very cautious with that because we know Calgary has been a major seller. Well, the Carolina Hurricanes have been a buyer. So we're starting to see these players inserted into lines, and we'll see how they do play out there. So the home team has won the last 4 meetings between these two. That's why I'm tempted to take the 3-2 for the Carolina Hurricanes. Calgary won at 3-2 in Calgary in December. The Rangers on Tuesday and the Panthers on Thursday is the look-ahead situations for the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm not too worried about that. You look at Calgary here. They're home versus the Avs on Tuesday, Vegas on Thursday, where Noah Hanifin will make a quick return back to the Saddle Dome. So that's going to be interesting to see. And both of these teams getting off to those hot starts. I think you can look at a couple goal scorers here, but I'd be cautious with the goal scorer market because we have seen, even though these teams start explosive, they settled down after the game. So I lean on that full under. I don't think I gave you odds on this one. Plus 188 for the Calgary Flames and minus 230 for the Carolina Hurricanes, -1.5 at plus 108. That total, again, 6.5 juice to the under. I'm going to stay off aside in this one. I think Carolina wins it, but I'm not sure if they cover that puck line. Frederick Anderson will be back in goal. We know he returned for the last game, and he did good coming back from that blood clot injury, but I'm not sure how he will fare versus a Calgary team that is us against the world and high scoring offensively. The good thing here is that he will get the support by the defense here. 25.6 shots on goal only allowed per game on average by Carolina. Well, let's move on to the next game. We've got the Arizona Coyotes and the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, if you join myself and Kevin Welsh on Game Time Decisions, we stumbled across the fact that Connor Bedard, 2+ goals today, is coming in at plus 1,200. Because we mentioned that I absolutely have to take Connor Bedard for 2+ goals. I think this is a high-scoring battle. Could Chicago get another win over the Arizona Coyotes? Absolutely. But I have more faith in the Arizona Coyotes to come out here and dominate and cover that puck line. So I do like the Coyotes on the puck line, laying the 1.5 at plus 138. Could I see this being a ridiculous 8-6 game? Absolutely. Connor Ingram has struggled completely on the road for the Arizona Coyotes as of late. 3.61 goals against average during this road losing streak for him. He's gone 0-5-3. So I don't have faith in him. And with Connor Bedard being able to register those points, he's recorded points in his last 5 home games. I do think it's a strong way to look here at him. You can look at him for the 2+ points. The 2+ points coming in, still great plus money at plus 250. But as soon as I threw out, maybe we should just look at the 2+ goals, and I saw it's plus 1,200. You guys know I had to hit on it because if that cashes and I don't have my money on it, I'm going to be mad at myself. So I do think the 2+ points is the safest way to go, but the 2+ goals, nice sprinkle there. Clayton Keller for the anytime goal here for the Arizona Coyotes at plus 160. If you think anyone's going to get a hat trick, I think this would be the game out of both of these teams as both struggle. Like I said, these teams just matched up on the 5th, which was 5 days ago. And we did see the Blackhawks win it 5-2. So the Arizona Coyotes had won the last 3 meetings prior, covering the puck line in each and every one of those, and hugely high totals in those. Clayton Keller, first goal scorer at plus 1,200. I would do Clayton Keller and Connor Bedard, both of those players at first goal scorer, because I think there's a prime opportunity for both teams to score first. So I like that. I'd look at the over 1.5 in the first period as well. I think these teams absolutely explode. And yeah, you got to look at Logan Cooley. You know, Logan Cooley, you're going to get so much more value. I think he's plus 385 for the anytime goal tonight. Pittsburgh first line is looking awesome. Yeah, with Bunting. That is for sure. It's going to be there. Pittsburgh has been able to make some nice moves there. Okay. That's nice for over the half point. I like that as well. Okay, let's look at the last game on the board. The New York Islanders take on the Anaheim Ducks. Now, you've got to think mindset of these teams. The Pittsburgh Penguins mindset is not good after they didn't buy at the trade deadline. I think the frustration of the core players, Malkin, Crosby, has got to be there. The mindset of the New York Islanders is good right now. The Islanders did not sell off any of their players, and yeah, they weren't buyers either, but it shows the faith that ownership, GM, and Patrick Waugh have in this team. Now, the Islanders go into Anaheim today. They are on a hot streak right now. They're minus 205 on that money line and plus 168 for the Anaheim Ducks. Now, we got a total of 6.5 juice to the under at minus 122, plus 100 to the over. If you like the Islanders on the puck line, laying 1.5 is coming in at plus 125. When I look at this game, I do think the Islanders have every opportunity to come out and dominate the Ducks here and cover that puck line. I almost want to take alt puck lines here, laying 2.5 for the Islanders and getting some more plus money because I think they have every opportunity to really shut down the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks have John Gibson expected in net. I'm going to wait for confirmation on that before I start looking at the puck line and alt puck lines in this one. John Gibson has a 3.22 goals against average and an 8.96 save percentage. Valimov confirmed here for the New York Islanders. He's got a 2.91 and a 9.10. So I do think the Islanders are the right side. They won the last meeting in December 4-3. So that was a tighter game. What I'm going to look at here and what I feel safest with before goalie confirmations at this point in the day, you guys, is to look at the Islanders team total. You can get the Islanders team total over 3.5 coming in at minus 118. On this hot streak that they're on right now, they've won their last 5 games and they've outscored opponents 24-10. In those 5 games, they've been able to light the lamp. And you also look at them versus the Anaheim Ducks. Versus the Anaheim Ducks over the past 6 games, they've been able to go over this team total of 3.5. So I love their ability here to find the back of the net and get those goals on the board. Now, there's a couple other things I would look at in this one. You've got Brock Nelson, the anytime goal, plus 135. Bo Horvat here at plus 170 and Barzell at plus 175. So I like all of those guys. I like the goal scorers. So pick who you have the most faith in this one. I'm going to also look at an Anaheim Ducks player to get a goal. And I know it's contrary to taking the Islanders, but I still think there's so much value on Ben Myers here at plus 650 for the anytime goal. Now, he was acquired from the Colorado Avalanche on Friday. He's a strong forward, 5th round pick this year in the draft. He's made his Ducks debut in the last game and played just under 14 minutes for them at plus 650. A player to impress the team that they're now on, I love looking at, and there's so much value there. So Ben Myers of the Anaheim Ducks at plus 650 for the anytime goal. I'm not putting a lot of money on it, you guys. That will be a couple dollar bet. The big bet in this one is the Islanders team total over 3.5 and minus 118. So that's what I'm liking. Only 5 games on the slate tonight. We have the Ducks have been able to light the lamp lately as well. So if you want to look at the over for the Ducks team total, I don't blame you, but I do like the Islanders team total to the over. And you got to remember, the Islanders are one of the older teams in the league. They're the 3rd oldest team, and everyone always talks about the Tampa Bay Lightning. Old and slow team. Well, the Islanders are the 3rd oldest. It's only the Capitals and the Pittsburgh Penguins who have an older roster. The Islanders' average age is 29.2. So 29 years old, 2 months. So that's the average age there. There's a couple older players really pulling up that number and a couple younger ones drawing it a little bit down. But it's a good thing for the Islanders right now. You got to be happy if you're a fan seeing all of these players sticking together. But you guys, that is it for Puck It with Joe. I am on In-Game Live later today with Joe Ranieri and Scott Wetzel. So make sure you join me. It's at 4:12 p.m. Eastern. So I will see you over there in the next couple hours. We'll be doing some in-game live bets. I will know more on this Islanders game and who we are going to see in net for the Anaheim Ducks. So I'll let you know at that point if I'm going to do some alt puck lines in this one. So stay tuned. I appreciate all of you guys and thank you so much for being here on this beautiful Sunday morning. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice. And remember, if you haven't downloaded the SportsGrid app, Make sure you go check it out. You can get my best bet of the day out there on the ice every day. You can also get so many player props. You can follow your favorite hosts. There's so much going on the app, and it's all for free. So links are above and below. You guys make the best of today. Let's go. Bye, guys.